In this video, I'm going to be helping you guys get a head start in your gym journey. Just make sure you have these fundamentals under wraps before you get into the gym. So I'm going to be going over with you guys 4 things that I would highly suggest you have to start the gym if you want to start the gym tomorrow, in order to make things, less sort of daunting or intimidating for you. Because I'm aware that, whenever you step into a new environment, whenever I step into a new environment, we always have a little bit of nerves, we always have a little bit of intimidation because we don't know what we're going to expect. And that's completely natural because we're in a situation we're not very comfortable with and we're not very familiar with, right? So basically in this video, I just want to just get you guys, set up, get you guys ready, make sure you have the fundamentals under wraps that you may not necessarily think about, right? And before we get into this video, I just want to briefly introduce myself to you guys if you don't necessarily know who I am already. So my name is Ryan, I'm a 19-year-old from the UK, and I've just undergone a physical and mental transformation over the past 3.5 years, taking myself from looking like this in 2021 to looking like this in 2024. And I'm on a mission to help skinny guys do the exact same thing if they're struggling, to help them gain weight and to help them bulk up, because as you guys just saw, I was in this position once myself. And in order to help me do this, I've just launched my very own online free community called the Slim to Sculpt Alliance, bringing together brothers who are on the exact same journey, like-minded guys. I've already got over 70 people in there, so it's growing, it's creeping up to that 100 member mark very, very soon. And if you're a skinny guy and you're trying to bulk and you're trying to gain weight and you want my guidance, then it's going to be the top link in the description. But enough of the yapping, let's get into these 3 fundamentals I would highly suggest that you have if you want to start the gym tomorrow. So the first thing that I want to get into is have a goal, right? Have a vision, have a mission, have something you want to achieve, right? Because if you don't have a goal, then it's not well known, but I would highly suggest going by this, right? If you want to start anything, then if you don't have a goal, life is chaos. That's what you need to go by now. Whenever you start something new, whenever you want to achieve success, you've just got to remember this, because it genuinely is chaos if you don't have a goal. If you're trying to achieve something but you don't have a goal, then how are you going to work towards that, right? You don't know what you're going to do to get there, right? If you have a goal, you most likely will have a clear path of how you are going to get there. But if you don't have an end goal, then you're going to be ending up going like this. You're not going to know where you're going, right? You're not going to have direction. And another thing as well, if you don't have a goal, you're not going to be very motivated and determined because you're not working towards anything. And trust me, when you don't have anything to work towards, you're not going to feel that you're not going to feel that that discipline. You're not going to feel that drive and that urge to, for example, if you got to train in the morning and you wake up and it's at 6 in the morning and you got to go to the gym, but you don't necessarily have a goal, you don't have a mission, you don't have that motivation, you don't have that drive, and you don't have that desire of achieving that goal one day, then the likelihood of you going back to bed is going to be very high, and that is not what you need to be doing if you want to achieve success in the gym. So what I would highly suggest for you is have a goal. And another thing as well is ask yourself why. Ask yourself why you're doing this. What do you want to achieve from this? Basically just to give you that internal motivation, because there are going to be days where you don't feel like going to the gym. There are going to be days where you can't think of anything worse, but you need to eventually learn that those days are the most important. So having a goal and actually having a reason for doing all of this is extremely important if you want to achieve long-term success in a gym. So for example, gaining a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, bench pressing X amount of weight in X amount of time. For example, working towards bench pressing 60 kilos within 6 months. And 60 kilos, aka 135 pounds, is a really significant number because that's the first big plate on the bench press if you achieve that. And I'd highly suggest you have that goal yourself. So make sure you're setting goals. It's so important. I can't express its importance enough. And the second thing that I want to get into with you guys that I would highly suggest you have, okay, is progress photos, right? And if you don't know what progress photos are, it's in the name. You take photos of your physique over time in order to measure your progress. And this is extremely important, not just for looking back on your progress and seeing how far you've come, but for the motivation reasons as well. Because when you take progress photos, when it comes to the next time you take progress photos, you don't want to be looking the same. You want to see some more muscle. You want to see that you gain weight, and you want to see that you're bigger, right? So it gives you that motivation of, you know, oh fuck, I've got to do this because because, you know, I don't want to get to the next time I take progress photos and I'm, you know, I'm looking the same or I'm looking even skinnier, right? I've got to go to the gym. I've got to be better than I was in those photos, okay? And this is something that has really, really helped my progress personally as well. And I really, really, really wish I took more progress photos, you know, back in the day, right, when I started. I didn't take too well. I took progress photos, but they weren't very clear progress photos, and they weren't proper progress photos. Therefore, it's kind of annoying in a way. But you know, I can still see how far I've come, and it's really good to see. And obviously, when times are tough as well, there's, you know, times are going to get tough in your journey. You know, regardless of what happens, it's inevitable, right? If you want to be successful in anything, you're going to be put through tough times in order to test you to see whether you're worthy or not, and whether if you actually deserve what you want, right? So you're going to be tested, right? And what progress photos do is they allow you to look back at your progress. For example, there may be days where you feel like you're not progressing and you're wasting your time, but then you look back on your progress photos and you actually see that you've made progress, and you actually see that you've changed, not just physically but mentally. That guy that started the gym here is completely different to the guy that's sitting here 3.5 years later, right? So progress photos are absolutely crucial. You know, not just for measuring your progress, but for giving you the motivation in order to, you know, hold you accountable, because you don't want to be looking the same in the next lot of progress photos you take in 6 weeks, do you? Right? So progress photos is extremely important, and I've got a video, 14-minute video in my community explaining how exactly to take progress photos and the 3 types of progress photos that you need to take if you want to measure your progress as efficiently as possible. So, you know, the top link is in the description if you're interested in that. Now, on to the third and final thing that I want to get into with you guys, and arguably the most important thing, okay, is having a plan of action. And what I mean by this is having a gym split. And if you don't know what a gym split is, it's basically when you split muscle groups into different days in order to train them on different days throughout the week, ensuring that every single muscle group is trained throughout the week evenly, right? And this is extremely important because a lot of the time when beginners go to the gym, they don't have a plan and they don't necessarily know what they're doing. Therefore, they just go around the machines and do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, and then they don't know what to do, and then they just end up going on a treadmill for 10 minutes and then leaving because they don't know what else to do, right? However, if you had a plan of action and if you had a gym split to follow, and you knew what muscles you were training on different days, you'd get in the zone easier, you'd actually know what you're doing, so therefore you'd feel more confident in the gym, and the session's just going to be overall a lot better, and you're gonna feel more at home, right? If you know what you're doing, you're gonna feel more comfortable in that environment, and getting comfortable in that environment is extremely important at the start, because as I said at the start of the video, when we all start the gym, we're not necessarily comfortable with the environment, because, you know, there may be a fucking huge guy over here and there may be a really pretty girl over there, and then there's you not knowing what the fuck you're doing, right? So making sure you have a split and a plan of action just basically, obviously, it gives you a direction, you know what you're doing. And if you don't have a plan of action and if you don't have a gym split that you're following, then you're going to go into the gym, you're going to feel lost, you're not going to have a direction. Therefore, you know, you're going to feel a little bit you know, embarrassing yourself, and you don't want to be there anymore. Therefore, you go home and then you end up quitting because you don't know what you're doing, right? So making sure you have a gym split is absolutely crucial, and you're going to get ahead of the game if you have one. And I'll give you an example of a really, really common one that you can try if you're not too sure where to start. So PPL is what it's called, aka push, pull, legs. And if you don't know what push, pull, legs is, basically on push day, you train the muscles where you push the weight in order to train them. So in order to train chest, you push the weight up. So you train chest on push day, and you also train shoulders because you push the weight up. So you're training shoulders, and also you train triceps because you push the weight down. So push day is chest, shoulders, and triceps, and pull day is, you know, you train the muscles that you and pull day basically consists of the muscles that are trained by pulling the weight, right? So for example, when you train back, you pull the weight in order to activate the back. And in order to train the biceps, you pull the weight up in order to activate the biceps. So on pull day, you train back and biceps. And legs, I don't need to explain, you just train the muscle in your legs. So your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your calves, maybe your glutes, maybe your abductors, adductors, whatever you want to train, right? That's what push-pull legs is. And I'd really highly suggest you actually start with that, because that is a really, really good split to follow. It's easy, it's simple, and it's also fun, right? So they're the three things I wanted to get into, and I've tried to keep this video as brief as possible because the stuff in this video is pretty simple, right? But you know, it's the simple stuff that makes a difference. A lot of people, when they start the gym, they want to skip the simple stuff, they want to skip the basics, and that is where they go wrong, because they jump straight into the deep end, not having built the foundations and not having built the basics first, and it basically just inevitably sets them up for failure, right? So I hope you guys have enjoyed just in oh my god, I can't even speak, enjoyed this video, and you've learnt something. So set yourself a goal after this. You know, you're going to bench press a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of months. Get yourself motivated, get yourself hyped up, get yourself excited, okay? Take some progress photos. Take some progress photos where you're going to look at them and you're going to say to yourself, in 6 months, I'm going to be a completely different person when I come around to taking progress photos again. And finally, make sure you have a gym split. So what I'll highly suggest starting with is push, pull, legs. But you can do some research. There's loads of other gym splits out there for you, but that is one I would highly suggest you start with. So if you have enjoyed this video and learnt something, then I'll really appreciate it if you could drop a like, a comment, and a subscription down below. It helps me out a ton, and I want to help you out as much as possible. And if you subscribe or do any of those things, then the algorithm's going to recommend me to you more, right? So you don't miss a single video of mine. And I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So, you know, you don't want to miss out on that, do you, mate? So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.